Summer is here. And you know what that means? Kids are off school. Which means I am on childcare for the summer. Now, it's a question that a lot of people have asked me over the course of me running my media company. How can you run a business while still being childcare for your kids? It's a very interesting question and one I want to try and break down in this video. Try and show that it is possible to do. So let's talk about it. Now, my kids are in primary school years at the time of this recording. So two words always haunt me and my wife's thoughts. Term time. I've never one to believe that kids shouldn't get the holidays that they get. In times that are getting a lot tougher for kids, trying to make them smarter, grow up a lot quicker, they need a relatively safe space to learn, grow and develop. But that same space can also be really fraught with difficulties, peer pressure, if your kids are neurodivergent, it's adapted to social situations, and as well as them constantly trying to learn and grow and develop, they have physical and mental changes that we seem to forget as adults that we went through as kids. Do kids get more holidays than we did when we were younger? At least in my case, no, they don't. I've worked this out. I've looked through them. They have the same amount of holidays that we had 30 odd years ago. So anybody watching that, stop your bitching and complaining. Let the kids have their bloody summer holidays. But at the same time, I also understand where parents are coming. Because it's not the kids having more holidays that's the problem. It's the way that things have changed for us as parents. We're now in two-income households where we both need full-time jobs just to survive. Which means that the childcare situations that we used to rely on, like parents or grandparents looking after the kids over the holidays, that is wiped out. So then you have to try and put them into childcare, as in paid childcare, and that ain't cheap. So it makes it harder and harder for families when it gets to this time of year, when it comes to the childcare issues. And if I hadn't had my breakdown in 2023 and wound up in the situation that I'm in now, my wife and I would be struggling because no one would be able to look after our kids. We don't have a lot of family, and the family that we do have still work, or they're too old to look after very boisterous young boys that we have. So the situation that we wound up in, as much as it was a massive kick in the stones at the time, it's actually worked out to our advantage now. I can be main childcare while Alison goes out to work, and we do a lot of things over the summer. Nope, but we make good with the time that we've got. And as you get older, you find more ways to get into a routine and a structure, which leads me into how I'm able to cope with childcare and still run a business. Now luckily, with my business being film, media, online content creation, YouTube, social media marketing, lots and lots of different strengths in my bow than I had at the start of the journey 4 years ago, you can make the time work for you. A lot of the stuff I do can be unsociable hours, nights and weekends. So it means that if I'm at a push, as long as it's at a time where Alison's home from her work, or if I get plenty of advance notice for a weekend shoot, I'm fine to do those type of projects. But even then, I try and treat my media company like a Monday to Friday 9 to 5. Now a lot of people think that that's unusual in a creative sense. But I try to prove that you can be in a creative sector and have a traditional Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job by the work that I do. Essentially, I work from home. I work in the flat. I now have it set up to look a bit more professional in terms of recording when I'm at the flat. And those days that I'm at the flat specifically, I work like a mofo when it's not term time. So when the kids are in school, I have a Monday and a Wednesday completely to myself, and I will work as many hours as I can to get what I need to get done. And it becomes a lot more about time management than anything else. A Monday is when I normally record as much content as I can and make sure I have that backlog ready. Tuesday, I'm the same time as the kids, usually 9 to 3, but I try and finish about 2 o'clock so I can be there if Alison needs me to pick the kids up from school. That day is usually about brainstorming, trying to figure out what videos I'm going to record next Monday. More admin-y things in terms of like the company's business and structure, all this kind of stuff. But Wednesday is my big day, because that is a day of editing. All the recordings that I've done, Wednesday's the day that I edit them. I get the head down, I'm at the computer, I'm at my desk. The only time I get up is if I'm going to pee or if I'm going to get something to eat or drink. And I work until the job is done. I start at 9 and I don't have a finishing time. I finish when the work is done. So as much as I do try and stick to the 9 to 5 formula, Wednesday is the one day that doesn't apply. It is work until the job is done. And then Thursday is for cleanup. Again, it's a similar time, 9 until 2 or 9 until 1. But it is checking videos, updating socials, because the social media part of it for a media company is just as crucial as the actual content creation itself. And then maybe any bits of admin or paperwork that wasn't able to get done during that time on Tuesday, I get that done too. So it's a clean-up day. A Friday, I can do little bits of admin or social media stuff if the kids are at school. But I try and have that as a wind down day to get me ready for being into dad mode. Because I can't jump straight from being business content creator into dad mode. We have to have a bit of time to ourselves even after we finish the normal Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job to decompress and get us ready to deal with the next bit of work, which is looking after kids. Because any parent will tell you, as much as we love them, it is a tough job, but it's also one of the most rewarding jobs that you can have, being a parent. Now, how does this prepare me for the term time? Well, those days where I am working like a mofo, I am building a backlog. My Ginger Engine channel will have a backlog of content to cover me right through the summer. My personal channel, I'll maybe have another couple of videos, but they'll mainly be recorded from here, the dining room at my house, where I don't have my setup, because I have more time being with my kids than anything else. So it just has to be on the phone, brief editing in CapCut, get uploaded to YouTube. That's the only kind of major change that I'm going to be doing this summer. I'm going to be trying to get some more content out on my personal channel. But how I go about it, I haven't really decided yet. In terms of the content creation side, I'm usually sorted, but what about the actual business side? Is there still the day-to-day operations of the business that I need to do over the summer? And yes, there are. But one of the key advantages, most of it can be done on your phone. And the boys are old enough now where if they want to go out and play with their friends in the street, or if they want to go and play their tablet or have a wee day in their house where they're not wanting to go out or do anything, that is when I get as much of the admin work done on my phone as I can. So if they were going to be on their Xbox, for example, that's normally from 12 o'clock. And they have from 12 until about 2. So I don't want them on electronics too much over the summer. But if they want a day where it's not nice weather, there isn't much to do, they want to just play their Xbox, they can go up, play their Xbox from 12 until 2. I get the phone out and I get as much of the admin work done as I can. Anything big, like for example the company accounts, my company accounts run to the end of July. So once the kids go back in mid-August, that's when I sit down and get them done properly once I'm back in my normal routine. So what's the point of this video? Am I just ranting about how I run my business over the summer, or any points in term time like Easter, or Christmas, or the October week? Well, it's to prove one thing, that the whole you have to work Monday to Friday 9 to 5, all day every day until you drop, it's not the only way to work. A lot of people are afraid to go self-employed or run their own business because it's fraught with a lot of things that you don't prepare for when you're at college and university. Even if you think you're totally prepared for it, it's a lot different practicing it in an education facility than it is actually going out and doing it. You learn a lot on the job and on the fly, and you will make mistakes. And that fear of making mistakes is what is putting people off taking chances and really going it alone. I had no choice but to set up the media company. The channels were getting monetized and they needed a single entity to funnel any money that could potentially come through. And at the time, people laughed at me for doing that because they thought, good luck, you're not going to make any money out of this business. Well, here I am almost 4 years later and I'm getting regular YouTube payments now because I've put the work in. Is it mass amounts of money? No. But is it more money than I was making at the start of the journey? Fuck yeah! And I'm damn proud of that because I've worked my ass off for it. I've never backed myself as much as I've backed myself with this media company. Because I thought, I'm onto something here and I could make a go of this. It will be long. It will be tough. There are tons of goals that I am not going to hit. I'm going to feel more like a failure than a success most of the time. But at some point, that tide will start to turn. And I'm so glad there's little signs of that coming now. So if you think that doing content creation or backing yourself in any type of business, media or not, is a waste of time, you always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take the shot. Anyway, I better get back to the kids. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, and take care.